Having spent the last 2 weeks not really doing anything that I normally do, I went to Greece for a holiday with my girlfriend and did my best to try and relax a little bit. I've had a lot of time to think about what is going to be happening over the next 4 to 6 months. Of course, we've got the upcoming beta and launch of Battlefield 5. Now, so far, I've been happy with the content that I've been producing for the game, and that's despite the issues the game has had, with some of the community reacting negatively to the politically correct direction that DICE is taking with it, and with it being a World War II themed title when it seems plenty of players really wanted a return to modern warfare. I've had literally thousands of comments from viewers expressing their displeasure about some of the decisions that DICE is making with the game, and even though I feel I've produced a lot of critical commentary already about the game, for the sake of clarity, I think it's time I simply gave my full opinion of Battlefield 5 so far. We're coming up to Gamescom that will likely show off a state of Battlefield 5 that will closely represent the beta build, so I think it's a good time that I can wrap up all of my opinion about the game before we see something that, potentially, we haven't seen so far. My opinion has and always will continue to be my own, but I often spread my thoughts across my videos and my social media accounts, which I think makes it harder for you guys and girls out there, my community, to really understand how I feel about things. That's what I realised whilst I was away. Moving forward, I will do more to make sure this YouTube channel is the home of all of my thoughts and opinions, rather than leaving some of my conversations on Twitter and other social media accounts that not everybody has the chance to see. So I'm going to start with the Battlefield 5 reveal and then work forwards in a chronological order, because I think that's the best way to show you how my view of the game has changed already, for better and worse. Right then, the reveal of Battlefield 5. I was sat in the audience in London as the game was revealed, and I, like many others, wondered what the hell was happening. The show itself was filled with plenty of good chatter about how DICE wanted to take the franchise in a direction that the core community would appreciate by focusing on squad play, making gameplay more physical, and completely transforming gunplay to make it more satisfying and readable. That all sounded awesome. And then they played the trailer. The trailer itself was incredibly well produced, and the single-shot recording all the way through was indeed a big technical achievement, and that should be applauded. But it didn't do anywhere near a good job at helping supplement all of the information that was revealed during the live stream show. What was revealed was not at all a good representation of the game that I knew it to be. Having spent 3 hours the previous day on a call with EA and nearly 100 other YouTube creators and streamers being told exactly what Battlefield 5 was. That trailer wasn't Battlefield 5. I mean, it was, but it wasn't a good representation at all. The two items just didn't match up. And I think that sentiment was shared right across the community. The ratings bar on the trailer on YouTube tells you all you need to know. People also felt at this point, after having been told this would be a deeply immersive Battlefield experience, that statement was somewhat hollow when the trailer showcased some rather outlandish character customization and the implementation of female soldiers. And of course, the infamous claw comes to mind. At this stage, I was left extremely confused, because what I just watched was not at all the Battlefield game that I knew it to be. And so that brings me to my next issue, how the game was then explained in the hours and days after the live reveal. If you were watching my videos when Battlefield 5 was announced, you'll know I released a near 20-minute video just after the live stream reveal, detailing every snippet that EA and DICE gave to me during that behind closed doors call the day before. I wanted to make sure that everything mentioned in the reveal was reiterated in my video and explained so that any viewer could watch the video and then leave knowing everything there was to know about Battlefield 5 at that point. Except my video and many other channels' videos ended up having more information in them than the official reveal stream, and the trailer, and the information on the Battlefield website. YouTubers, streamers, and press had much more information about the next title in a near 20-year-old franchise than what the official accounts of the franchise did. That came as a massive surprise to me. Once the reveal finished, I then knew the reaction to the videos released would be just further confusion. Why would EA and DICE allow third parties to run away with what was then exclusive information about their next title and not instead use that information and reflect it on their website and social media accounts? I mean, just saying it, it sounds totally bizarre. Why would the first party offload that information onto third parties so that they could release the information for them and then just sit back and sort of wait for something to happen? It just doesn't make any sense in my head whatsoever. Looking back at that scenario now, there may have been an element of DICE and EA wanting to use central figures in the Battlefield community to spread that information because, as it turns out, the entire reveal of the game was pitched towards the core community, core players who played multiple titles in the Battlefield franchise and knew what Battlefield games were all about. The trailer, on the other hand, that was for the mass market. That was for anyone who wanted a quick look at the next game, regardless of whether they were really interested in buying it or they were just giving it a passing glance. I think EA and DICE were hoping that specific YouTubers, streamers, and press sites, they would help the core community learn more about the game, and then hope that that information would permeate across the wider community. Now, in my own opinion, that was a massive mistake, and I'm one of the channels that got access to that information. That's beneficial to me because I could have furthered my business by doing that, but genuinely in my head, it doesn't make any sense. Surely with the power and weight of a franchise like Battlefield, the most sensible and blindingly obvious option would have been to distribute that information through official channels and then allow third parties, the YouTubers, streamers, and press to supplement the reveal with their own videos coming out with the same information. Instead, we ended up with a scenario where members of the community were left confused by a reveal show and trailer that seemingly didn't match. I mean, they could have been for completely different video games. We had fractured information across hundreds of different outlets, and just no central location to learn all about the next Battlefield game. It's easy to look back now and see why just so many people were annoyed at the reveal of Battlefield 5. It was a hot mess. After the reveal, the next big destination for Battlefield 5 was EA Play, and communication from the Battlefield account suggested we would get our first look at proper gameplay at the event. Now naturally, everybody was very excited, and I think at this stage many people were willing to give the game a second chance at revealing itself. Sure, the reveal show and trailer had been an obvious misstep, but there was a big chance here to set things straight with all eyes of the gaming world watching. But again, unfortunately, the game tripped over and fell flat on its face. Now, Battlefield 1 in 2016 utilised EA Play to showcase a 64-player livestream of the game on the St. Quentin Scar map. We had a 20-minute match, unscripted, using people at the show to play the game so it could be shown off to millions of players looking forward to the next title in the franchise. For Battlefield 5, and for whatever reason this might have been, EA and DICE decided not to use that opportunity. Anthem got a big showing with a panel and a gameplay offering as well. Obviously that's their big new IP, and they want to try and push that as much as possible. But Battlefield 5 is also a massive game coming out in a massive franchise that EA owns, and it only got 5 minutes of presentation time. During that, no gameplay was shown whatsoever. The team revealed they would have a Battle Royale offering for Battlefield 5, and they dropped a multiplayer trailer. Now, here are my issues with that extremely small and frankly, very poor offering. EA Play runs the weekend before E3, and no other publisher schedules a keynote during the same time that EA does. That's prime time to release information about your upcoming titles. We had EA Originals titles, all of their sports games, a mobile Command & Conquer game, and Anthem. All of those games got more stage time than Battlefield 5 did. Battlefield is one of EA's biggest wholly owned IPs, and they chose to give it just 5 minutes of airtime when players all around the world were tuning in to see the gameplay reveal that the official channels had been teasing. That's not cool. Next on the list, the announcement of a Battle Royale mode, in my opinion, was extremely premature. Call of Duty had done the same thing just a month or so before, but they had absolutely nothing to show. And here, neither did Battlefield. What was the point of even saying anything when they had literally nothing to show about this announcement? Sure, you can now get yourself some free advertising by being mentioned in hundreds of articles on the internet about Battle Royale games coming out in 2018, but without anything to back up the announcement, it felt like an extremely cheap move by the marketing team. It was a hop on the bandwagon kind of moment, and in my own opinion, it did more harm than it did good. The concept of a Battle Royale mode in a Battlefield game was already a very controversial one within the community, and to simply state that one was coming without releasing any major details at all alongside that, I think that angered the community even more. Personally, I don't care if Battlefield 5 gets Battle Royale or not, but the team could have just done a much better job at announcing it was actually coming, and I don't think EA Play was the right place to do that. We already now know that the mode's not coming until after the launch of Battlefield 5, so what was the point of including it in a speech that was about the launch of Battlefield 5? It just doesn't make any sense. And the other thing I had a problem with, the lack of a proper, centralised gameplay reveal, was alarming and extremely misleading. Many gamers had tuned into that livestream expecting Battlefield 5 gameplay to be shown off, and just nothing arrived. To have used the official social channels to promote that EA Play would be the place to see gameplay, and then not show that gameplay during the part of EA Play that gamers would actually tune into, just added another anger point to the increasingly growing pile. There were a couple of good things that did come out of EA Play, however, the trailer and the resulting gameplay. The trailer did help to show off the true vision of Battlefield 5 and closely resembled the game that I knew it to be at this stage. We got a wide sweeping trailer showing off combat between tanks, planes and infantry in a snowy Norwegian setting, one of the main locations to be included in the Battlefield 5 base game. It was essentially what the reveal trailer should have been 3 weeks previously. However, despite gameplay being released, again it was handed down to third-party YouTubers and streamers rather than being hosted on the official Battlefield channels. At big shows like these, players expect to look at the official channels for information, for gameplay and everything else, rather than having to rely on outsiders to get their fix. We again met the situation where the wider community struggled to really grasp onto the information that had been handed out, and the core community were left confused as to why information hadn't been centralised, myself included. I was one of the 5 people asked to release gameplay, and for the life of me I could not understand why some sort of 7 or 8 minute gameplay video wasn't being prepared for the official Battlefield channel. Why was EA and DICE again asking me and a few others just to release some information and gameplay when the impact would have been far greater to use their own outlets, the outlets that everyone was looking at that time? And once again, as I've said so many times in this video already, the whole thing just didn't make sense to me, and it ended up disappointing the community even further. And then, the closed alpha arrived, and things admittedly did change quite a bit, and in my opinion, for the better. The closed alpha was a huge success in my opinion, and it helped show off Battlefield 5 in a very real way. It felt for the first time since the game had been revealed that we were actually getting unfiltered information. Imagine a blockage in a pipe. That blockage was the entire marketing campaign for some reason restricting all this information, and the closed alpha got rid of that blockage, and all of this information and detail was just flowing out like never before. All the people that didn't really understand what Battlefield 5 was now had a chance to see what it really was. Streams were going up, videos were going out, articles were being made. Finally, Battlefield 5 appeared to be getting the showtime that it really needed. However, it would be naive to assume that having a closed alpha to test your game, and naturally allowing for some form of marketing to really bleed in there, that would repair all of the damage that the reveal and EA Play did. It certainly helped to convince players that Battlefield 5 was the next step in a big franchise, and it was a game that they could really get excited about. All of those snippets of information at the reveal and EA Play that just had no examples at the time now had proper examples. We got to see the new gunplay in action. We saw the return of Conquest Majority Rule, the new Grand Operations experience, the Narvik map, squad reinforcements, fortifications, destruction improvements, squad play functions, physical revives, ammo scarcity, and a lack of true health regen. Everything was in there that had been spoken about, and finally we could really see Battlefield 5 for what it was. This outcome begs the question, why the hell did EA and DICE choose not to show all of this stuff at the reveal and at EA Play? Was the game simply not ready to be shown? Were they scared of another nasty reaction after the reveal, or were they scared of how the wider gaming community would react after bungling the launch of Star Wars Battlefront 2? Maybe, but that last one doesn't really make any sense because they sat on stage at EA Play for nearly 40 minutes talking about their new IP Anthem, but chose not to do that for Battlefield 5. I've come to the conclusion that EA and DICE simply didn't have anything ready to show publicly, or were scared their pre-release builds weren't stable enough for a big multiplayer livestream at EA Play. Having said that though, during the capture sessions the build I played was extremely stable and it closely resembled the closed alpha build of the game. I think DICE just didn't want any screw-ups whatsoever. Rather than risking a big 64-player livestream, they instead chose to focus on a capture session. That would result in good, clean gameplay being shown just a couple of days later. But back to the closed alpha, I absolutely loved it. Even though I only clocked in about 15 hours, I was moving home at the same time, so my time really was limited. It just felt like a Battlefield game that I wanted to play over and over and over again. The gunplay led to some properly tense gunfights where it was down to the skill of the player as to who won. Performance was reasonably good for an alpha, and the Grand Operations mode showed me that DICE really had listened to feedback during Battlefield 1 days, despite not being able to act on it until this point. The closed alpha left me totally convinced that Battlefield 5 was a game that I'd be playing happily for the next 2 years. That's despite all of the marketing mistakes, all of the blindingly obvious missteps on the way there. None of that mattered to me after I played the game. I had a lot of fun in the closed alpha for Battlefield 5. The next big destination for Battlefield 5 is Gamescom. This is EA's penultimate chance to show Battlefield 5 in all of its glory, the last chance being the beta later this year. All eyes of the gaming world will again be on Cologne in August, and I really do feel that EA and DICE need to 150% nail it this time. First impressions are everything, and Battlefield 5 didn't give a good set of those. The second chance to impress at EA Play has come and gone, with some face salvaged with the closed alpha. Now is the time to set Battlefield 5 free and show the gaming world what the game really is. If the team fail to do that, I'm not really sure the game will ever reach the heights that EA and DICE want it to when it comes to sales and player numbers, simply because they will have done such a bad job at marketing this title. This is one of their last chances to have everyone look in their direction for just a few minutes, so really, they do need to nail it this time. To sum up, I think Battlefield 5's marketing campaign is one of the main drivers as to why Battlefield 5 is being perceived the way it is at the moment. Honestly, it's one of the worst marketing campaigns that I've seen for a Battlefield game in quite a long time. When just 2 years ago, Battlefield 1 broke records and basically just laid the blueprints for how to market a video game and keep the hype train rolling, I think Battlefield 5 can be summed up by this one GIF. Everything has been so far so gentle, and yet, the moment the time comes to execute, the game just trips over, falls on its face, and makes itself look so stupid. Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 could not be further apart in terms of their perception based on their marketing, and I find it so extremely hard to understand how the same company got it so right with Battlefield 1 in 2016 and has got it so far so wrong with Battlefield 5 in 2018. Battlefield 5 itself, however, is a great game in my opinion. I'm very much looking forward to seeing it again at Gamescom. I'm all booked to go there, and I'll be doing my usual, capturing gameplay and bringing you all the content that I can so that you guys are in the know, regardless if EA and DICE do a good job or not. I hope with this video that I've helped clear up my stance on Battlefield 5, and it can put to an end to the people out there who keep saying I'm ignoring the issues since the reveal of the game. I've acknowledged that some of my opinions were almost being masked by the fact that I didn't have them in one location for my entire community to see and then understand. So having just spent the best part of, 21 minutes telling you that Battlefield needed to centralize their information for Battlefield 5, I've now done that as well. So I hope that you can appreciate and see, even though I know I already am, that I can be critical about the games that I love to play. Thank you very much for watching. Please share your thoughts down below in the comments section, and I'll reply to some of those as well. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.